feel good? Are you glad to be here? Are you making plans to head home? A good-looking audience. We're glad that you're here. Hey, my name is Rob Roderick, and I'm with the National Tile Contractors Association. I'm actually a technical trainer. I go around the country, and we do educational programs and workshops all around the country about correct industry standards and methods. I have with me Luis Batista. He's actually our Spanish-speaking trainer, and he travels around and does the same thing. We're so fortunate to have him. A large part of our community, their primary language is Spanish, so it's great to have Luis involved, and he helps us out with our workshops as well. What we have planned for you today is just kind of do a review of what we talked over this week, and we've talked over exterior installation, so we're going to hit the highlights of what we talked about this week. There's a lot of challenges with exterior installations. One thing, let's go to the PowerPoint if you don't mind. One thing that we always encourage people to do is follow the guidelines set by the industry. Is everybody familiar with these books? Raise your hand if you have these books. Okay, we've got the Tile Council of North America Handbook and the American National Standards. These are what we want people to use because we know they're successful. The processes in them and the methods in them are successful, and we want you guys to be successful and the industry to be successful. Here's an example of a TCA handbook method. They kind of spell out exactly how things go together. They give you a diagram, they talk about limitations, they talk about using the right products with that particular method. All of these methods have been tested and proven to be successful. This is just an example of one. An exterior method for floors. Now, one thing it says on all of the exterior installations is we need to be concerned about the freeze-thaw cycle. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but an exterior installation takes a lot more abuse than an interior installation. If we're using interior methods and interior products on an exterior installation, we're going to have some issues. The things that we're concerned about is the water penetrating that installation, and once that water gets in there, you know, a water molecule is one size when it's water, but when it freezes, it expands and it gets bigger. And that's what we're talking about when we talk about the freeze-thaw cycle, and it's mentioned in the handbook right here. Here's a map showing the freeze-thaw cycle in North America. You can see there's certain areas down in Florida and Texas and California that barely even have a freeze-thaw cycle, so it's not nearly the concern that it is for other areas. Basically, during the day when the sun comes out, that snow might melt off and turn to water, and then at night the temperature drops, and when it does, it freezes, gets into little crevices, expands, opens that crevice up, and it continues to do that. Up to 120 freeze-thaw cycles in some portions of the United States. So every time that happens, the water sets onto an installation and then it freezes. We're opening that up a little bit more and a little bit more. So the number one thing that I would say to you guys is this. We need to manage our customers' expectations with exterior installations. Actually, one of the things that it talks about in ANSI is it says that all installations need periodic inspection and maintenance. And it says especially exterior installations. So we don't want our customers to think that these are going to perform exactly like an interior installation and not need the maintenance requirements for exteriors. Another thing we want to think about is using the right products, and we need to use them in the right way. This is probably one of the most important tools to have, I think, for an exterior installation, a laser thermometer. I was out the other day and it was 80 degrees out and the sun was beating down and it was a beautiful day. Most of these manufacturers of thin sets and grouts say they want you to use their product from 50 to 80 degrees. This is a laser thermometer. You just basically point it at something, pull the trigger, and it gives you the temperature reading. So I'm out on an 80-degree day with the sun beating down on the concrete. The ambient air is 80 degrees. I shoot the concrete. Can you guys guess what the temperature was? Anyone want to guess? 120, very close. 120 degrees on an 80-degree day in the direct sunlight. That means that we don't want to use thin set over a slab that's 120 degrees. What can we do? How can we do this installation if we have this situation? What we can do is one of the things we could do is wet down that concrete and cool it off. So that's exactly what we did. We sprayed it down, and in a matter of 20 or 30 minutes, it dropped significantly, down to 100 degrees or so, and it continued to get lower. Also, we could shade it. We could put shade over it. We also have to be concerned about any wind that might come across. You know, when we're spreading our mortar, when that wind comes across, that mortar can skin over, and that will keep us from getting the kind of bond that we need. Now, for exterior installations, we need to have 95% coverage on the back of our tile. That's our requirement. On interior, it's only 80. And the reason being, of course, is that water intrusion that we talked about and that freeze-thaw cycle. The products we use, they're going to have more latex and polymers, generally speaking, and that slows that water migration down into the assembly. All right, can we go back to that PowerPoint? All right, a big thing to think about on exterior installations is movement accommodation joints. It's actually on every installation, but especially exterior installations. You know, tile isn't exactly dimensionally stable. What I mean by that is when you heat up tile, they can grow in size a little bit, okay? So, and it's just a little bit, but if we have 100 of them and they're all hitting, the sun's hitting them and they're maybe 120 degrees, and then all of a sudden a cold front moves in and a rainstorm moves in. Luis has an example of a pre-made expansion joint that you can put in. Our guidelines for expansion joints on exteriors is we need to have them every 8 to 12 feet. And there's a section in our TCA handbook that's really important. I think it's the least used, most often misunderstood, and probably the most important part of our handbook. There's just 4 or 5 pages. It's called EJ 171. It talks about expansion joints, where we should locate them, the size of the joint, the frequency of the joint. Like I said, on exteriors, we need to have them every 8 to 12 feet. When we have them closer together, we can have a smaller expansion joint. 3/8 of an inch is recommended. When we have them further apart, that 12-foot section, we have to have a wider one, like 1/2 of an inch. Now, in addition to that, we have to add, depending upon the temperature of the area that we're in. And what I mean by that is, we have to look at the winter low and the summer high, okay? And every 15 degrees over 100 degrees, we have to add 1/16 of an inch to that 1/2 inch or 3/8 of an inch. So here it is right out of the handbook. On interiors, it's only 20, it's every 25 feet. On exteriors, it's every 8 to 12 feet. And that's to allow for that thermal expansion when the sun heats that tile and things start to expand. We got to allow for that movement. If we don't, it's going to lift off. Have you guys ever seen that tinning behavior where tiles lifted up? They heated up, they had no place to go, they were in a bind and they tinted up. That's because they didn't have the proper movement accommodation joints in them. All right. Guys, I want to talk to you about one last thing. How many members of the NTCA do we have here? All right.
Awesome. Yeah.
It's terrific. I want to talk to you about some of the benefits of being a member of the National Tile Contractors Association. The National Tile Contractors Association, they've been around for 70 years. We're a nonprofit organization. If you decide to become a member, we're going to send you Tile Letter Magazine. Have you guys seen Tile Letter Magazine? You'll get that each month, okay? Also, that handbook that I keep going to and I keep talking about, we're going to send you one of those. We're also going to send you our reference manual. It's a terrific resource. It's set up in a problem, cause, cure method. The number one reason that I was a member for so many years was technical support. Guys, we're in a business where one step can make you a lot of money and one misstep can cost you a lot of money. And it was terrific to have that technical support. On my workshops, I go around and I show a 2010 TCA handbook, and that thing is about 1/4 of an inch thick. I show a 2017 handbook, and it's about 1.5 inches thick. Things are changing. We will help you to be successful. I remember laying in bed at night sometimes thinking, hey, we've never done this before. I've never done this method. I've never used this tile, and I'd be worried about it. Once I became a member, I called and used the technical support, and it really helped, and I slept a lot better. But it's a great association. It's only $500 at a show like this to become a member. And here's the great thing. All of these manufacturers around here, they support us. So if you decide to sign up and you pay $500 to be a member, they're going to give you $2,000 worth of product. Mortar, board, tile, tools, Laticrete's right there. They give you $300. Mapei gives you $200. You get to select those $2,000 worth of vouchers out of a pool of $6,500 worth of vouchers. Guys, I've literally made money from being a member for the last 10 years. Let me go back to that power. There we go. You beat me to it. He's really good. All right, another thing we offer is NTCA University. That's some online training, and it's terrific if you've got a bunch of guys working for you that you can actually get them trained. We have an apprenticeship program, a 2-year apprenticeship program, and I don't know if anyone's tried to put an apprenticeship program together, but it's a significant amount of work, and that's offered to our members for only $100. How many people here have heard of the Ceramic Tile Education Foundation? Raise your hand. Do we have any certified installers in that? All right, right here. Terrific.
Me too.
Yeah, right here. Me too. The Ceramic Tile Education Foundation, they are in the business of certifying installers, testing them, okay? And if you take this test and you pass, your name will be on the Ceramic Tile Education Foundation website as a certified installer. And you can actually get work from that. I've had people call me up and say they didn't know anybody in my area. They looked on the Ceramic Tile Education Foundation website and they saw my name and they called me and we ended up doing business together. So you can get work from it. You can also use their logo in your business as well as the NTCA logo once you become a member. You can use it on your business cards, your letterheads, your trucks, your invoicing. Again, the manufacturers, they want you to be successful. They want you to be members of the NTCA and they want you to be certified with the Ceramic Tile Education Foundation. So if you pay the $500 that's necessary to take the test and you pass, they're going to give you $1,500 worth of vouchers, or coupons in this case is what they call them, to get mortar, board, tile, tools, things like that to offset that cost. Also, I've seen specifications come through from architects. I've seen 4 in my area that said, we want certified installers. We want someone who's been certified by the Ceramic Tile Education Foundation to do this job. They're requesting that. And I kind of think that's the way the industry is going. They're spending a lot of money on these projects. They want to make sure that they're done correctly, and that's one way to do it. One last thing I'll say about the Ceramic Tile Education Foundation and this test. This isn't the type of deal where you pay $500 and someone pats you on the back and says you're certified, okay? This is real testing. Luis took the test with 17 guys. How many guys passed?
7.
7 of 17. I think the statistics are a 59% success rate. That means 41% of the time the guy pays $500, travels a day, and spends all day on this test and fails. So you need to take it seriously. If you're following the industry guidelines and you're studying ahead of time, and we'll work with you, you'll be successful. We ask that people have 2 years of experience before they even try to take the test, but it is a serious test. 59% success rate, 41% failure rate. So take it seriously if you're going to invest in it. Any questions, guys? You're the best looking audience I've had all week. I mean, the best looking audience. You guys have been great. Thank you so much for your time.